Good morning and welcome to Free Webinar Friday with me, Chris Dan of Market Your Clinic Online. We're starting a minute or so late today, so apologies for that. Hello if you're watching live. Hello if you're watching the replay. As always, I'm going to talk for about 15 minutes or so about clinic marketing, and then if there's anything you want to talk about, discuss, ask a question, and so on, just drop it in the comments. On the YouTube comments, and I will get to it afterwards and we'll have a talk about it. I can get you up here live in the webinar to talk about it if you want to, but feel free to drop any questions in the chat there and we will discuss them afterwards. So this current series of webinars is about SEO fundamentals, about the basics of SEO. And last week we spoke about looking for an SEO agency, pitfalls, what to expect, what they're going to do for you, that sort of thing. And today we're really going to start getting into search, into SEO, and start talking about the different types of search. So people say, you know, how's my SEO? How am I ranking? It's not really ever as simple as that. The question is, you know, how are you ranking for what, on what platform, on what location, and so on and so forth. And we have to make decisions when we're monitoring SEO and when we're targeting different SEO keywords and so on about, you know, what are we actually targeting and why are we targeting it. So what I'm going to do is just open up another browser tab and we're going to demonstrate to you some different types of search. So hang on. Essentially, first off the bat, I mean, there are different types of search within different types of search within different types of search and so on. So it's all a bit involved, but essentially, first off the bat, we've got, as far as we're concerned, local search versus informational or national search. So, for example, if I were to type in osteopath, right, then this is, by default, I'm getting local results here. So I'm getting the map and I'm getting clinics that are local to me on the map and so on. This is called the local pack in SEO. These three results that come up with the map, that's called the local pack. But I'm getting what I call hybrid results. So I'm also getting informational results and so on and so forth. But essentially, it's a local search. It's a local search by default. I'm getting some local results. Whereas if I were to type in, how do you become an osteopath? Record on Google. Now I'm not getting local results. I'm getting purely informational results. So that's the first distinction to make, is local results versus informational or national results. And this is a bit of a pitfall. This is something that can happen with SEO agencies who don't necessarily understand local search, is that they will rank you for things, for terms like this. Hey, you're now 5th in the UK for what? How do you become an osteopath, or what does an osteopath do? And that's absolutely useless to you. You want to be ranking for local searches which return local results. So which searches will return local results? That's the next question. What can people type in that's going to return local results? Because that's the searches that we want to target. Well, essentially there are three of them. So the first one is just the term itself. So again, osteopath. Now, some searches will return local results, some won't. So for example, if I type in back pain, let's see what we get. There, I've got some local results, so a bit further down. If I type in back pain clinic, then I get local results further up. It's a much more local search. If I type in back pain treatment, I'm still getting local results. That's changed. You didn't used to get local results for back pain treatment, but you do now. But if I would say maybe, how do you treat back pain? Then yeah, not any local results. So there are generally three different ways that we're going to get a local result. We're going to type in a term that's a local result by default. So for example, osteopath, for example, dentist, for example, physiotherapist, that sort of thing. I highly recommend both these first two clinics, by the way. Or I can type in near me. I'm going to get the same thing. I'm going to get these local results. Or I can type in a location. So for example, here I'm in Greenwich. So osteopath Greenwich. There we go. Now, They're the three types of local results. So a near me, search that's local by default, or actually explicitly type in the name of the location. Now, what I want to show you though, we're going to switch to dentist now. If I go dentist near me, see the results I'm getting. I'm getting Dental Beauty Greenwich, the Meridian Dental Practice, and Greenwich Dental Health, right? What happens if I then just do dentist? Okay, so Dental Beauty Greenwich, Meridian Dental Practice, Greenwich Dental Health. This is a different one, isn't it? The Meridian Dental Practice, this was Greenwich Dental Health before, now I'm getting Greenwich Dental Practice. So the important thing is you can see that the results have changed. When I go from dentist near me to dentist, I'm getting different results. And then if I type in dentist Greenwich, Dental Beauty, Meridian Dental. So I'm getting, in this case, in fact, I'm getting the same results, but I'm getting them in a different order. So again, the important thing being that the rankings change between a near me search, just typing in the name of the therapy, and typing in the primary location. You're going to get different results when you do that. And this is something that we look at when we're doing SEO for clients. We will look at, okay, there's basically these three different modifiers which we want to optimize for. There's the near me, there's the name of the treatment itself, and there's the name of the treatment plus the primary location that they're optimizing for. Now, what we do is run searches at the location. We run test searches at the location. It's all done through software. It's not, we don't sit there typing in dentist near me and so on. Because near me at your location is always going to be the easiest search to target, right? If you're standing in your clinic and Googling name of service near me, then that should be the one that's easiest for you to come up with, because proximity is a much bigger factor there. And this is all about proximity. Proximity is a huge factor for a near me search. So if you're at your clinic Googling your service plus near me, you should come up first because you're the nearest. So when we're doing SEO, we first of all target near me searches and try and make sure that you come up top or 1, 2, 3 for near me searches at your clinic location. That's the easiest ranking to do. It's near me searches at your location. The next one we look for is just ranking for your keyword, your service, be that physiotherapy, dentistry, counseling, whatever it is. There, you're still a local search by default. Generally, we'll check that, but you're also competing with informational results, and proximity is less of a factor. So once you're ranking for near me searches, the next thing to try and target is just the name of the service itself. That's the next most difficult search to rank for. And then the most difficult search of all to rank for is that one where you're actually explicitly saying the location. So if I was to search now, let's add this back again. If I were to go there and search for, I'm in the wrong window, sorry, it's difficult doing this with just one screen. If I were to say Dentist Manchester, then generally, and this is generally, not always, but generally, whether I make this search Dentist Manchester from here in London or from anywhere in Manchester or for anywhere else, the same clinics are going to come up because proximity is not a factor generally. It's not quite as cut and dried as that, but generally proximity isn't a factor if I make a search for service plus location. So what we're saying there is that we've got near me searches where proximity is a massive factor and ranking at your location should be easy. Then we've got just straightforward service searches, which are the next most difficult to rank for, the next most difficult to rank for. And then we've got service plus location, which is the hardest to rank for because proximity is not a factor. You're going to rank the same everywhere. So you have to be, for Google to return you in the top 3 results for Manchester, for example, Google has to see you as one of the top 3 in that service for that area, for Manchester or wherever else. Excuse me. A bit of a sneeze. So that's the order in which we'll target searches for clients. We'll start off with near me at your location. Then we'll say, okay, great, we've ranked for near me at your location. Can we rank for just the service name on its own at your location? Great, we've done that. Can we now rank for the primary location optimization. We talked about how to choose your location optimization in a different webinar. So that's the three different types of local search and their difficulty and their importance. The other thing that's worth pointing out now is that you can, let me share my screen again. Let's go back to that. There we go. Is that there is another way of searching as well, right? Which is if I go to maps, then I can also search in here. And I'm going to get results in Google Maps as well. So there we go, dentist. And again, you get one set of results there. If I type in dentist near me, I'll probably get a different set of results. Here, some have arrived, some have left. And then if I type in dentist Greenwich, then whoop, down we go to Greenwich, and then I see the dentist in Greenwich. Now, what's important to note here is that these are different things that are ranking. So when you're ranking, if let's just have a look for Sphere, who came up just now. Again, a clinic that I highly recommend. His Sphere Osteopathic Clinic. Here we go. This is their Google Business Profile, which we've covered in a different webinar. We talked about Google Business Profile and so on. In fact, we've covered it in many webinars. But this is a Google Business Profile. This is their website. This is their Google Business Profile. When I'm searching on maps, it's the Google Business Profile that's ranking, not the website, okay? Whereas when I'm searching in organic, like this, I'm getting Google Business Profiles, and then here I'm getting websites, okay? So it's a slightly important distinction. It's easier to rank your Google Business Profile than it is to rank your website. But the thing is, when we're searching on the maps, it's the Google Business Profile that's ranking, and the website is a factor in that ranking, but it's your Google Business Profile that's ranking here. Whereas in organic search, apart from the map pack, where again it's your Google Business Profile, it's your website that's ranking here. This is their website that's ranking. This is their website. This is their website. It's a beeper, but you know, so on. This is their website. So getting into search on maps is going to be a bit more weighted in favor of what you've done with your Google Business Profile. Your website is still a very big factor in the ranking of your Google Business Profile, but ranking organic is going to be weighted in favor of your website. How good is your website? What's the authority of your website? And so on and so on. Your Google Business Profile will be a factor in it, but it's more about your website. Whereas when we're on maps, it's more about Google Business Profile. Now, when we're looking at results, we need to take that into account as well. So we say, okay, you know, what are we looking at? Are we looking at, you know, SEO tools will give you different results and say this is how you're doing, blah 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 blah. But are you looking at map results, or are you looking at organic results and what's actually ranking? So here, for example, when we publish these grids and we say, wow, look at the difference we've made. When we say this point you're first, this point you're first, this point you're first, this point you're fifth, and so on, this is actually a Google map ranking that we're talking about. All of these grids, these local search grids and heat maps, they're looking at Google Maps. They're not looking at your organic website result, basically. So these are maps results, as opposed to, if we do, hang on, it'll take me a second to find this, I think. Right, I think I've gone past it, but here we go. So when we look at rankings like this and we just say, okay, these are different search terms, this is the position on Google, then we're actually doing that search from a specific location, but we're looking at organic results. We're looking at where your website is ranking rather than where your Google Business Profile is ranking. So let's recap. Let me come back to the studio and recap on everything that we've said. So basically, there are informational versus local results. we're only interested in local results that are going to bring up local businesses. And there are 3 ways of triggering Google into local mode, which are to type in near me or in my area or around me or one of those modifiers, or to type in the name of something that's a local search by default, which is most therapies. If I type in dentist, if I type in back pain, osteopath, counselling, something like that, most therapies are default local results. Or to type in the name of a location, such as Greenwich, Manchester, London, Dublin, wherever you like. And then when we're searching those local results, we're going to get a map come up. We could be searching on organic Google, or we could be searching on maps. When we're searching on maps, or when we're looking at the map pack, the local pack, then it's your Google business profile that's ranking, and your website is a big factor in ranking your Google business profile, but it's not your website that's ranking, it's your Google business profile. Or if we're looking at organic search results and we're looking at the list of results, then it's your website that's ranking, and your Google business profile will be a factor in your website ranking, but it's not your Google business profile that's ranking, it's your website. So next week, when we start talking about monitoring searches and saying, okay, what are we going to choose to monitor and how are we going to monitor it, we have an understanding of exactly which searches we're targeting and why, and of the intricacies of these different searches, so we can set up useful monitoring and reporting, and we can target things that are actually going to be useful for us to target. So there we go. I hope that was useful. Just to say as well, let me share my screen once more, because we now have an extensive range of knowledge guides on the Micro website. If you go to free resources, knowledge base, this is a new thing we've published this week. So these are kind of sitting in tow with the webinars. So here, basically, this is what I've talked about today: understanding search types, and everything I've said today is in this guide that explains it all to you. And then we're going to basically be working through these next week. We're going to be talking about this SEO measuring and monitoring. The week after, I'm going to talk about understanding HTML for SEO, on-page SEO tags, local ranking factors. This is actually last week. We talked about hiring an SEO agency, and this knowledge base is increasing and increasing. So, you know, I've planned out the next kind of 20, 30 or so articles. I just have to write them, which is no small task, but it will happen. So if you want to know anything about these things, go on to the knowledge base. It's all there, and more information coming all the time. So that's it for today. No one's dropped any questions in the chat, so we'll just end it there. Thank you very much for listening. If you're watching the replay, thank you again for watching the replay, and I will see you next week when we will talk about measuring and monitoring your SEO performance. Have a lovely day, whether it's Friday or whenever you're watching.